How much income do you make per week? Hey guys, Archie here, a second year medical student. Thanks to all of your support, we've now surpassed 5,000 subscribers, which is just a crazy number on its own. And so I thought it'd be the best time now to have another Q&A. And in fact, there's a lot more questions, so we might as well get straight to it. So what do you think you would have done if you didn't get into medicine? Well, I really think that if I didn't get into medicine on my first attempt, I probably would have tried at least another 3 or 4 times. And if I really didn't get in, then I might have considered something like software engineering, because that was something I was looking into before as well. And it was actually something that I did for university while in year 12. And then I realized that I didn't actually, really want to do this. And I could still pursue my interest in programming while not having a degree in it. And I think as well, if this really wasn't another thing, then maybe something to do with business. But I mean, I can do software programming and business on the side, which I am now doing alongside medicine. What subjects did I do? Well, here's a whole list. Cool, so what's the lowest mark that I ever got in a test in high school? So it really depends if we're asking about summative stuff here or formative stuff. I would say that formative, my lowest was like a B or B minus, and that was just really because it was formative, so I didn't prioritize it. But if we're looking across my whole high school journey, then I'd probably say my lowest mark in a test was a B plus. I had gotten lower in assignments. I think my lowest was in year 9 English, and it was either a B or a B plus. How am I revising for lectures at the moment? Well, I'm not really even revising for lectures in a conventional way. I'm not actually watching lectures. I actually just read off lecture slides, textbooks, and I do a lot more complicated study techniques. So it's not just reading off these pieces of information. There's a lot more to it. And so I can't even get into some of these details quite so much on this channel yet, because it requires you to understand all of the other study techniques that are more fundamental and intermediate level before we start to talk about these highly advanced study techniques. So, all the videos that I'm producing at the moment are trying to take us to that point. How am I at the moment? Well, I would say that, there's a bit more stress on at the moment, just because I'm so busy with things outside of university. And things should calm down after this week, but there's always these periods where things just get extremely busy, and so I get a little bit more stressed out with that, if I'm going to be honest with everyone. But I really appreciate when people ask me, how I'm going. I mean, I put a lot of effort into answering you guys' questions, just because I know I really want to put everything out there, but I just really appreciate that, so thank you. What's my favorite fruit? I don't really have that much fruit, but I would say bananas and apples, those are the most basic ones. And I love drinking, anything to do with oranges. I'm really basic and I need to fix this up. What's the best and worst things about my current work-life balance? Good question. I would say that the worst thing is just how some things can just become overwhelming at some points. A lot of things are now not in my control, but the people who help me out and work for me. And so if they're not handling things as well as they should be, that comes onto me, and then I need to sort that out, and I just have this sudden increase in workload as well. So that's what I would say is one of the worst things. But one of the best things is that I have far more control over my time to do actually what I want to do. And so I can move things around without much consequence, and that's just awesome. How do I get perfect scores for subjects I don't enjoy studying? Well, there is a pretty clear and strong link in research about how curiosity does have an impact on how effective your studying is. To a degree, there's a correlation there. So what you want to do is use things like inquiry-based learning, which are curiosity-driven, also taking into your learning objectives into account. And so then you can focus on the things that you have the most curiosity about. And what that means is you'll be able to learn that content better. And then it sort of has a knock-on effect where, you are able to remember more content, which means you can now learn new content more easily, which is, a simple example, a university student is much easier to learn some aspects of biology just because they have so much prior knowledge to build relationships off. And that's how it kind of works. Who was my favorite YouTuber to watch? I have cycles, I kind of go through quite a few. There's always, the standard people that I like to check in with, like Ali Abdaal and Karma Medic. But I think that the ones that I'm most consistently watching involves Wintergatan and Stora. What's my opinion on getting into meds directly versus graduate pathway? I think directly is a much better way, but graduate pathway is always there if you don't make it in. You really shouldn't be thinking about it though if you are still, in contention for direct pathway. Put all your energy into that because it just saves you so much time, so much stress, and it also gives you greater likelihood of getting in. Any favorite podcast recommendations? Yes, so I'm pretty basic with this. I do listen to a lot of Tim Ferriss, but also a lot of Ali Abdaal, and there's a lot of other business related podcasts that I listen to here and there when I'm on my drive to uni. How do you balance your life when it comes to study, family time, exercise, free time, etc.? I've spent like a lot of time, and actually money as well, learning how to become more productive, to manage my time a lot better. And these things have helped mentally, which is what I try to share for free on this channel. But it's, there's a lot to it. It's like you might know all the study techniques and all the management tips out there, but being able to apply it pretty well and actually master these techniques is a completely different thing to just knowing them. So it's taken a lot of practice, and I mean, I'm still always making changes to this to make it even better. And there are some times when I get it wrong, even still, but I'm in a so much better place than I was like even just a few years ago. But yeah, what's my dream car? A Tesla. And I really want to get a Tesla, but I know it's a bad investment of my money. But one day. If you could give yourself one piece of feedback back in year 12, what would it be? Everyone already knows this. Learn how to learn. My favorite sports or way to burn time. It's usually down to either working out, playing music, or responding to people's messages. Or I would say, playing video games as well. What advice would you give someone going into their end of year exams? The main thing that I would say is just really make sure that you're not making the same mistakes that year 12s make all the time going through their exam preparation. Like every single year we have the cycle of year 12s, and a lot of students make just the same mistakes. So do what you can to avoid those, and maybe there's an upcoming video on this. How's my Discord community? Well, it's actually really good, and it's really crazy to see how much of you guys are interacting, sharing good advice out there as well, and it's really cool to just engage with guys in a different way, as opposed to the one-on-ones on Instagram. And if you're not in the group, you can join. The link is in the description, and I hope to see you there. What is the best way to take notes? Cornell notes system. I have mentioned this on the channel, but it's a stepping stone. Like there's so many things that are better out there. So make sure to check out my more recent videos to see, the better ways to study. How much income do you make per week? Well, the exact amount is that it's enough to buy me a few takeaways every week. How to maintain motivation even at night when you want to rest. So, I mean, I'm recording this at night right now, and I would definitely say that I'm not motivated right now to record this. But it comes down to a lot of discipline and willpower, but I have a lot of this in store for when I need it, because I'm not always relying on motivation. You are gonna need motivation for some points and times, but you wanna build a healthy relationship with it. So if you wanna see a video quite in depth about motivation in ways that I don't really see talked about too much from other study YouTubers, let me know, and then I can do that. Can you make a video on the best subjects to choose, or just tell me what you think? Well, what I think is that you need to choose subjects that you think that you're gonna score the highest in, not just the ones that scale the best. It doesn't matter if you're doing very hard maths, but you're not scoring well in it. So, think about that a little bit, but at the end of the day, do you think you can score very highly in it? Are you wanting to collaborate with anyone in particular? Yes, but I don't wanna say anyone, because if it doesn't happen, then I'm gonna feel bad about it. But when I start traveling around, when COVID is not so much of a problem, you'll definitely see some collaborations. What's your favorite study technique? I would now say that it is mostly to do with a form of mind mapping that is inquiry based. And I would say that's just because I literally do not have to study at that much because of how much time this study technique saves me completely. Favorite food? It is definitely like butter chicken, and I had some today as well just before recording this, and I ate all of it. It was way too much for me, but I love it. What are the numbers on the front of your bank card, the expiry date, and the CVV number on the back? Not gonna answer that one, but a good try. Are you in a relationship? Yes, I am, and we've been together now for almost 2 years, and this is on my Instagram. What's one thing that I regret about high school? I would say, again, it comes back to not learning as much as I could about study techniques even earlier, but I just knew that I wasn't exposed to the right things. Like, I had to burn out in year 10 to realize this sort of stuff. But if I knew this earlier, oh my God, I would have been able to focus on so much more important things and things that would have made so much more of a difference for me. Between, you know, back then and now. How do I make time for everything despite running multiple businesses, going into uni, and spending time with friends, family, and my girlfriend? I would definitely say this comes down to marginal gains and being like very much on top of personal development. It's just something that I really got into when I first found out about Ali Abdaal, and I've been constantly, like literally every single day, I think about these things, and then I can make these improvements to get to where I am now. And I'm still trying to improve a lot. Like there's so many more things that I want to be doing. But it's a work in progress, and you got to start somewhere. What were the main challenges that you faced when mentoring new students that hadn't yet delved into the study techniques realm? It's definitely going to be like the self-limiting beliefs, self-sabotaging behavior, and a degree of overconfidence. And I had the exact same when I was in year 10 about this as well. It's just that, like, when you're not exposed to what's really possible in terms of study techniques, you can easily think there's just a cap to efficiency. And a lot of students even think that year 12 is the hardest thing. Like, university, like in certain levels, is going to get more complicated for sure, and more stressful if you don't get on top of your study techniques in university as well. Like, that's just how it's going to be. What to do when you're falling behind? That's a good question. Really what it is about keeping up with the content so you can actually just keep up with the week to week sort of things. And that's just because, like, you'll learn the relevant parts of the previous weeks that you've missed out on, and then you can go back to them when you catch up on time, if you do. But the most important thing is just to keep up with specifically what people are going through in class, even if that means you miss out on a few weeks. Studying consistently can be quite a tedious process and sometimes very demotivating. How did you manage to push through and overcome procrastination? I think completely that studying consistently is quite tedious, which is why I focus so much on these study techniques. But you know, if it's being demotivating, you got to find out what the cause of that is. Itself, the process shouldn't be demotivating. It's like maybe the results that you're seeing, or the outcome of what you're studying is producing. So how have I managed to push through and overcome procrastination? Again, a lot of stuff. There's a lot of systems and stuff that I talk about on this channel about dealing with these sort of things. And so if you apply these and put them all together, then you start to see changes. How to recover from poor trials, grades, and are you able to still get a good mark overall if you did get bad? Obviously that depends, but you know, can you recover from poor trial grades? Yeah, you can. You just need to really figure out like what's going wrong and really fix up on that. Because I mean, most of the time you're preparing anyway, and if you get a bad grade, like you prepared, like there's something wrong with your preparation, and you need to figure out exactly what that is. And that's where, you know, I kind of help students out with coaching and mentoring and this sort of thing, because, you know, it takes a lot of effort and you may not even find what specifically is going wrong with your study to figure that out. Cool, that's it. That's all we've got for today. Thank you so much for sending through your questions. It's been a pleasure to read through them, and I'm sorry I couldn't get to everyone's, but you know, make sure to leave me a DM or join the Discord and I'll try and answer those there. So thanks again so much everyone for getting us to 5,000 subscribers. It's crazy. And it's even crazier to think about what the next milestone is. So, you know, thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.